So I've recently completed a run of Grand Theft Auto 3 Definitive Edition, making it the first time I've actually played through GTA 3 in its entirety in my life. I've played Vice City and San Andreas back in the day, but I've always ignored GTA 3 until now. And well, to be frankly honest, if I were to compare Grand Theft Auto 3 to every other GTA game that's ever existed 3D era onwards, for a very quick verdict that I'll be going a bit more in depth in, I'd have to say that GTA 3 Definitive Edition is fine, I guess. Just fine. It's not a masterpiece, it's just fine. It's an old game that was in desperate need of a revamp, and the definitive remaster gave it what it really needed. A modern engine that allows it to run on modern machines without having to modify the game files, more up-to-date control styles to make playing the game overall much better than in the original, especially if it's a console release, and the ability to restart from checkpoint is a huge, massive convenience which, unfortunately, I found to be using far too much for the wrong reasons. Bear with me on that. I'm not going to go in depth on the story, the music, the setting, etc. It's exactly the same as the original, just with a bit more plasticky looking character models and questionable graphical enhancements. Yeah, may as well start with the Definitive Edition enhancements. I personally think that this game could have looked better. I don't think it looks bad per se, I just think that there were some questionable visual design choices that make the game look a bit odd at times. The first thing I noticed was how obnoxious the rain effects were. Is this rain or goddamn hailstorm? Look at this, I can barely see. If they turned down the opacity of the rain a bit, I think it would have looked a hell of a lot better. The character models I think look a bit too plasticky in my opinion, like we're watching some sort of spin-off of Toy Story. I think the main issue is the character models, mainly Claude, the playable character, is a bit too reflective, like maybe they were trying to make him look like he's gelled his hair or something. It definitely looks a bit off. Also, Claude himself just looks depressed. Textures look a bit haphazardly applied to surfaces, leading to quite a bit of seaming, and some textures look like they haven't been changed from the original at all. Like, there's a lot of really nice looking textures in some spots, but then some others look pretty awful, like they haven't been changed at all. Some things I do like about the enhanced graphics would be grass, making it look very similar to what we have in GTA 5, reflections, which just look fantastic during nighttime wet weather, like what you see in literally every graphics mod video on YouTube, and especially explosions. The explosions of cars, grenades and rockets going off just look really cool. It's too bad you don't really get that many chances to see an explosion in its fullest, because most of the time if something is exploding, it's because you flipped a car on its roof and you just don't have the time to get out of the car, run to a safe distance and look back to watch it explode. At its best, GTA 3 Definitive Edition looks almost as good as GTA 4, but at its worst it feels like nothing has changed at all, like I'm just playing the regular version of GTA 3. Gameplay wise, I am very happy to say that GTA 3 Definitive Edition is very fun and easy to play thanks in part to its modern gameplay enhancements and controls. There was a point where I decided to try playing the original version on my Xbox Original, and goddamn, you feel so restricted by today's standards, and some of the missions early in the game were made unnecessarily hard due to the limitations imposed on the player. However, in the Definitive Edition, some of those missions are made very trivial simply because of the level of control you have. It's just that much better. Though if you do fail for any reason during a mission, there's a new checkpoint system allowing you to very quickly restart any mission that you were on, especially useful if you die for any reason. It's been made much more streamlined. It's just outright given the player the choice to rewind time, restart the mission, inventory intact, saving a lot of time and sanity. I love this. Unfortunately, however, I found to be using the checkpoint system far too much for all of the wrong reasons. Let's get to it. I'm not about to go on how some of the missions in GTA 3 are some of the worst designs of any missions in any video game ever, because I'm quite sure a few of you will have remembered that one time where you had to knock over 9 stalls that were all around the map in a limited time, while also somehow magically knowing where they are because the map doesn't tell you, or that mission where you have to know what the hell a Colombian gang car is without Google search back in the day to be able to make your way into a parking lot. There's a few missions like this where you have to know exactly what car you need. This game is buggy, like you have to restart the mission buggy at times. I've already done a video showing off a really handy speedrunning glitch which, if you combine weapon switching while moving around, you move faster, but combine it with sprinting and you can outrun some traffic. I have a plethora of footage of the many times the game has gone wrong, and it's just mind-boggling how the game managed to get through testing. Like here for instance, your mission is to check out the apartment? A very vague mission objective to say the least. What you're actually supposed to do is to throw a grenade into the window of the apartment. Okay, sounds simple enough, let's do it. Yeah, did they not test this? I'm holding the weapon use button all the way and this is as high as I can throw the grenade. I had to stand on a car just to be able to get the height needed to get the nade through the window. Like, there's no way any person who worked on this be like, this is fine. But it doesn't end there. Here in this mission where you have to defend this truck from being blown up by the Colombian gangs in their Colombian gang cars, not only is this mission terribly designed and incredibly boring, it also decides to bug the hell out at the very end of the mission where it's supposed to make a turn into this parking lot, but instead it carries on up the road, getting stuck on the side of the road, leading me to have to blow the thing up just so I can try again. It took me so many goddamn tries to do this mission, either because this truck is made of cardboard and it blew up in like 10 seconds flat, or it failed to make the turn in. Every time I had to try this mission, it was like 1 minute of defending the truck and another 2 minutes of doing literally nothing while it casually has to drive up the underground tunnel again. Did they not test this mission? God damn. And here in this mission where you have to kill a guy who's riding in an ambulance, it just straight up doesn't work. So the idea is you have to shoot the ambulance to make the man inside magically eject out the ambulance, which is admittedly pretty hilarious. Like, how the hell does he do that? But then the game tells you have to finish him off by either blowing him up with a rocket launcher or a grenade, or running him over using a vehicle. The only way I was able to beat this mission was by hoping to hell that the game had a way that you could drown him by pushing him off the edge of a cliff or something. Thankfully it does, because if it weren't for this, I would have softlocked until Rockstar patched it or something. Hell, even drowning him was a pain in the ass, which is what I wanted to do to myself after having beaten this game. So while the game is, as a whole, a fun experience, on the most part, there's times where that fun is just turned upside down into a miserable, annoying experience where you're hoping to hell that the game will work just right. And it's sad really, because there isn't really that much you can do once you complete the storyline. There's the hidden packages to collect and the vehicle missions to complete, but there's not really that much that you can do to fool around with in the game, because there's no flying for one, except for the dodo plane, and the map is really small by today's standards, and there's not really much that you can do to explore. Thankfully, the Definitive Edition comes with not 1, but 3 games, so while GTA 3 is a decent enough game to beat, it's not really worth sticking around because of the other 2 much more superior games, I hope, which after making and uploading this video, I'm gonna get right into playing them. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you around, folks.